gosh, I feel bad that you even think it looks easy. I feel bad that I make it appear that way. Because I have the same struggles as everybody else. Like, trust me. I mean, yes, I prioritize my nutrition and fitness. I am good at that because it just makes me feel whole. And then when I feel good, happy wife, happy life. Everybody else, everything else in my day goes well. The family, my relationship, my work, like everything. I've learned to let go of a lot of things. Maybe that has helped me. Like, I will leave the kitchen breakfast and go work out. Like, that's happening. I'll clean up later, even if it's at 5 o'clock or noon, which is not my personality, but I've learned to let a lot of those things go because I can get sucked into tasks like that. Or like this, just my house is always in disarray, and I've gotten more comfortable with that right now. I have some posts on these. I will share them on the next one. But in summary, creating your bike setup to always prioritize alignment of rib cage and pelvis so that when you breathe, you're breathing with and not against your pelvic floor or core. And so that is typically looks like handlebars higher than the seat. Then, frequently changing positions so you're not putting too much pressure down on the pelvic floor and the structures within it. That can happen very often. And then a wider seat, not necessarily a more cushioned seat. So anywho, I have all that information, probably a little bit more better explained than I just said in this next post that I'll put over here and in the caption as well. Cycling and your pelvic floor. Handlebars that are lower than the saddle or too far from the. Okay, to understand this, you have to understand how the pelvic floor works with your breathing. So the diaphragm sits on top of the pelvic floor. When you inhale, the diaphragm descends, flattens, and expands in 360 degrees. And if it does that, ideally, then the entire pelvic floor will lengthen and descend like a trampoline. And so I like to just kind of have people imagine that this entire system is pushing the organs down and everything is expanding and coming down. And then the process reverses from the bottom up and the pelvic floor lifts first. The core comes in and up. So the belly button should not just come straight in. There should be a slight lift. And then the ribs come back down, and that's one full inhale. And so that should happen at rest with just gentle breathing when you're not holding on to tension. And then we can re-educate the body to do that if we've lost that. So if you have pelvic floor weakness or maybe you have discoordination because we've set ourselves up to have uncoordinated muscles from bad habits like pushing out poop and pee, holding our breath, keeping our abs sucked in, all of those things. First, you release tension and you do a lot of pelvic floor relaxation, breathing, and learning to understand what it feels like to fully lengthen. And then often people understand how to contract a lot better because a muscle that works through its full range of motion will contract and work through its full range of motion on the opposite side of the spectrum better too. So releasing tension, but then learning how to get the central lift from the pelvic floor. So it's a squeeze around the urethra, a squeeze around the anus. Together, those are a central lift. So, Kegels, people think about just stopping the flow of urine, and that's only the anterior or the front part of the pelvic floor, and it really misses the central lift from the pelvic floor that should be happening. I don't think it's motivation. I'm just habitual about it. Like I said earlier, it makes my world go round. It makes everything go better. So it's not if I'm going to work out, it's when. And everybody in this house knows it. And Matt's the same way. And so he's very supportive of it. And we both make sure that we make that happen for each other. I enjoy the physical struggle and feeling strong and overcoming or pushing through something that was challenging, and then it just makes me kind of apply those things to other things you experience in life. And I'll be 38 this year. I feel young, but obviously my most recent thing with my health, we're not invincible. And so I just want to keep doing things that keep me strong, well, and healthy as I age, keep up with my kids by the time they get to the point that I can go running with them, which is just in a couple years, or go cross country skiing and do all those fun things. I want to be able to do it. I do, and I am asymptomatic of it. But this is a really important concept you have to understand with prolapse is that you may still visually present as prolapse, but if your symptoms are managed, then like all is well. So visually on inspection, I still have prolapse, but it does not limit me or hasn't, bothered me. There's some evidence to show that we can shift actual physical patient presentation of prolapse, and there's also some that shows that it doesn't change but symptoms improve. And there's people who don't even know they have prolapse that exists and they're asymptomatic, and then there's people who might only have a 1 or a 2 and they're very symptomatic. And so it's kind of teasing out, well, why is that? And so we really learn that the physical presentation doesn't matter. So if you're still always self-checking a lot, that doesn't help you mentally, but it's rather how do your symptoms present and how can I love this question. Tagging Matthew Packard. He won't even see it if I tag him. I don't think he knows how to even do that. He just got Instagram like 3 months ago too. But he said he would do a video with me. I do have an idea I want him to do. So I just need to find time to execute that when we're both around and the kids not chaotic. But I would love for you guys, I need Matt to come on here. You guys would love Matt. As far as like topics of health and wellness, Matt obviously has a medical background, and then very much like me with, healthy living, exercise, like what things can you do to optimize, health and aging and wellness. And then like he just keeps me grounded. Like I can be very anxious